Now, page 4, what victory over coronavirus looks like to America. State governments have painted our society, our economy, and our lives into a political corner. They have declared war against an invisible enemy that is not killing at a clip that warrants this draconian global pandemic response. It is just simply not, when rational thinkers understand that about 150,000 people die globally each day, and that so far, about 5 months into the Wuhan coronavirus, fewer than 100,000 people globally have died. Based on just those numbers alone, does any of this make any sense? 8,000 people die in the United States every day. All right? So far, corona has killed fewer than 10,000 Americans over what, 2 months? Yet we have this huge governmental response, the effective closure of our society, our country. And we are operating at what, maybe about 25% capacity right now? And these governors like Gavin Newsom and these mayors like Eric Garcetti come out for their daily televised scare sessions with utter glee in telling residents that their liberty is stolen and that they must do whatever these temporary politicians tell them to do, or else. But do what they decree for how long? Where is the light at the end of this dark Wuhan virus tunnel? How long can a country survive this unprecedented and massive bi-coastal suspended animation? And the most important question of all, what does victory over corona look like exactly? It is a question and a conundrum. It's so easy to order people to stay at home. And for Marxist socialists, it's also crucial to their anti-constitutional ideology. But these house arrest orders go against everything that it means to be an American. It is why Newsom and Garcetti are having so much difficulty forcing all residents of California to capitulate to their demands. We have freedom in our blood. It's in our DNA. Thus, for thinking Californians, it's only natural to not comply, to resist and question authority. But how does this end? Does it end when President Trump says sometime in the next couple of weeks, hey, what is the point of protecting your physical health if your economic health is wiped out? This is common sense. What's the point of surviving corona if, in the process, we are killing our future? Or does this end when the blue state governors of California and New York and Colorado and Illinois say it is over? Let's face it, collectively in this situation, these blue state governors have more power than the president. And if they decide to keep their economies shut down through summer, then what? What's it going to take to satisfy radical Marxist socialists like Gavin Newsom? A flat corona bell curve? A handful of deaths due to corona? They have that now. 0 deaths? Maybe he and Cuomo won't be satisfied enough to reopen their economies until Joe Biden is elected president. Think about that. Sound far-fetched? Consider those 4 states alone. California, Colorado, Illinois, and New York control about 25% of America's gross domestic product. That is a lot of power in determining our future and in deciding what exactly victory over corona looks like in America.
So the next few weeks are going to be critical in the state of California. In the next few weeks, we're going to do more to flex and to surge and do more together to meet.
Flex and to surge, flex and to surge. What does he even know what he's talking about? He's just rambling. He comes out every day, scares the living daylights out of California residents, then goes back to the governor's mansion, lights up a cigar, puts his feet up and says, ha ha, we are now living the dream. We are now unfolding the Marxist socialist agenda on the people of California, and like dominoes, the rest of the country is feeling the pain that the people are suffering in California. Flex and surge. The surge. Over the last few days, The number of dead from the Wuhan coronavirus in California has toggled between about 3 dozen and 2 dozen. Now, remember that figure of 8,000 deaths per day in the United States, okay? California is about 10% of the population of the United States. So we can assume somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 800 people die every day in California. And so when we start looking at and drilling down and comparing these numbers, when you're talking about 2 dozen people in a state that has 30 or 40 million people in it, we don't know exactly how many people live in California, of course, because a good percentage of them are illegal. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40 million people live in California. You're talking a couple of dozen deaths? Now, of course, we want to protect life, all life. That's what conservatives do. And I want to protect life, all life, inside the womb and outside the womb. But when you start crunching the numbers and you look at them apples and apples, when you figure somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 800 Californians die every day, and we're looking at a couple dozen Wuhan coronavirus deaths per day, which appears to be flattening out, by the way. If you look at the numbers, there's been a spike recently, but overall, the numbers appear to be flattening out in California. Does any of this make any sense? How many of those couple dozen would have succumbed to whatever other underlying illness they had in their system to begin with, whether it was cancer or possible heart disease, lung disease, hypertension, what have you? How many of those folks would have succumbed to those underlying conditions? How many of those folks would have succumbed to the seasonal flu? These are rational, logical questions that California residents should be asking this genius. Instead, when I go onto social media and I see this guy speak and I dial it up on Twitter or what have you, and I look at the expressions from people and the comments from people, so many California residents are out there saying, oh, isn't this a wonderful governor? Look what he's doing. He's protecting us. They don't look at it from the other side of the coin, which is he's crushing your constitutional rights. He's not allowing you to go to the beach. He's not allowing you to go to the park. He's not allowing you to play golf. He's not allowing you to go to church. He's allowing you to go to the market once in a while. But you got to have a mask on, and you got to get in, and you got to get out. This is their dream. This is what Saul Alinsky dreamed about. This, somewhere in Washington, D.C., Barack Obama's got his feet up on a desk, and he's got a cigar he's smoking too, saying, hey, this is it. This is genius to allow these governors to do what the Marxist socialists have been dying to do to this country for decades and decades. It's happening right now. So, your future, our future, you're looking at it. Governor Newsom is wagging the dog through his state-level government response to the Wuhan coronavirus. He shut down the once golden state early and with glee, and he is unilaterally telling California residents who is essential and who is not. The truth is, the United States only fully reopens for business when this radical Marxist socialist, governor of California, allows his state to reopen.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.